Today we're going to have a look at how I like to go about making a character to animate in pixel art. So, yeah, to begin with, I normally just lay out a basic shape using either cubes or spheres. So I like to just put each component of the body on a different layer so they'll be easy to work with in the long run. This is normally the longest part of the process because you just need to lay out everything, get all your proportions right, and set up all the naming and layering. So we'll just work through all of that now. As you'll see here, I'm just double clicking on them and renaming them. You can use whatever naming convention you like. I'm just using L for lower, U for upper, and F and B for front and back. And I like to put them at the front so it's easy when I'm going through my layers to see which one I actually want to use. This is actually the first time I have done a video and recorded the audio in post. Let me know what you guys think. Is it something you'd like me to do more of, so I can do a more thoughtful audio, even though I'm not really doing that right now? Or would you like me to continue doing it live with the video? At the moment, I'm just coming through and copying the parts we made before just by highlighting them by clicking and dragging, Control C, Control V, and then moving them around with the Move tool. And then, as you'll see, I'm colouring the arms so they stand out, and I can see there's a layering issue, so I just need to move those two layers. We just about have our character set up. And then we can start getting into some posing in a second. We're just going to set up the feet and then we should be good to go. So we have our feet positioned and it's looking a little bit goofy at the moment, but that's alright. Now we can start to pose. So as you can see, I just put on auto select. Well, I went over an auto select. You want to make sure you have that on, it just makes it a lot easier so you don't need to sort through your layers. You can just click on the one you want to be on. So as you can see here, I'm just clicking on layers and rotating them to be how I want. So we can set a nice position for the character very easily. So basically all I'm doing here is pressing V to go into select mode and selecting the layer I want, and then T, or Control T to transform, which brings up the transform rect, and you can rotate from there. And yeah, it's a pretty simple process if you just use V and Control T, and you should be able to move through this pretty quickly. So I'm starting to be pretty happy with that pose, so we're going to make a new frame. To make a new frame, we just go and click in the bottom right hand corner. You can't see it because my video is over the top of it. And then we can start making a new pose in that frame, which is just the same process, but we're making sure we're in frame 2. And then we're going to do it again in frame 3. And now we can come in and set a tag for them, which is just right clicking on them with them all highlighted. And now we can play it and see our idol. And it's playing a little bit too fast, so we can come in and just right hand click on all of them and set their playback speed to double, and that will make them play at half the speed. And now we can see our idle animation a little bit better. We're going to have to tweak this around a little bit more, so we'll just play around with this a little bit until we like it. as you can see, this is a pretty fast process. We just really, like, half of it was just setting up that character. Now we can just come through and quickly move everything around. Obviously this is just the base motion. We would need to come in and actually design the character and fill in all of these little holes and stuff we're making as we move parts around and smooth edges and yeah. But this is a very quick way to get something started. And so as you can see, we've made a new layer, and I just had right hand clicked on the other tag and I changed its bounds from being up to 3, from being up to 4 to being just back to 3, which means now that 4th layer doesn't have a tag and we can start working on our new animation in there. And that's what we're doing now, is just setting up that animation, which is going to be our attack wind up. So we want to make it a little bit opposing, so we're trying to go for a nice broad stance and having the arm up, showing that he's ready to attack, so the player has some understanding that they're going to come in and attack them. So we'll just play around with this for a bit. Sometimes we'll have issues like this where we might need to erase one layer to show the layer under it. It's a little bit easier just to do that for the one frame you need to, than actually have to make a new layer or something like that. Okay, and now we're starting to get something which is more resembling a wind-up. So we'll make a new tag for that, come in and just name it our attack wind-up. The reason why we use tags is because then we can play sections of the animation or the entire animation, and it makes it a lot easier. We can also take advantage of it when we're exporting, if we use a certain script or something to import it into whatever we're going to use it in. So here we can see our idle and our wind up. And again, it's a pretty fast process if you use this way. It really is just mainly setting up all those layers and getting used to the macros and being able to just tweak and just change it as you go along, basically. It's a very fluid process. There is no correct way, it's just whatever looks good to you. So now we're just doing that attack animation. Again, we wanted to have an even more aggressive stance, so we're making the player move in, well, making the player or AI, whichever this is, lean in to really show that it's hitting with force, filling in that gap we made before. And now we're going to position that attacking arm. And without all of the cuts and, well, there's no cuts in this video actually, I only sped up parts. So without speeding up any parts, this whole thing was 15 minutes, and edited, we've got it down to 10 minutes. So it shows you how quick it can be to build a really quick character and animate it using this technique. And this is just how we've started, well, this is just how I've started working after working on Elden for so long, which is my game, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But here you can see we're starting to have a pretty good little attack. You don't really need to have much, not in this stage. You can come through and double the frame rate and stuff later on. But yeah, now we have our little character. We have him doing his idle, his wind up, and his attack, and that didn't take very long at all. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you were able to take something away from it. I mentioned I would talk about Elden. What is Elden? Well, it's the game I've been working on for quite a while, and you're actually looking at it right now. It's a medieval cosmic horror game focusing on non-traditional narrative. We want it to be like you're reading a book in a language you don't understand, but don't worry, because every other page has a picture. It's also based around reactive combat instead of active combat, so it's all about your stamina management, your positioning, and trying to go for parry attacks over just going in and hacking and slashing. The game revolves around multiple regions with multiple weapons to collect, items, and of course, multiple bosses. And all wrapped up in a nice medieval, eldritch horror world. I hope you'll enjoy the game once it's out on Steam at the start of next year. And of course, we have a Patreon where you're able to support the game now. Thank you for watching, and if you have any videos you'd like to see in the future, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time.